Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Now we have an incredible game coming up. It is Epsilon versus Viperio. I'm Brycey, and joining me to break this one down, it's Walshy and Wonderboy. Okay, this should be a good match. Viperio was hyped up yesterday. Didn't always live up to the expectations, but Epsilon are our first seed. What do you think?
Yeah, we saw there in just before the break the Buck twins clearly in sync there in Mr. and Mrs.
Do you know what the best thing about that video is? Is that when they actually switched them, you couldn't tell for a minute.
Oh no, yeah, I still have trouble figuring them out, but one of them I owe money to, so I need to make sure I pay.
Do you always just claim you owe it to the other one?
Yeah, that's for sure what they do. It's like, oh, that's my brother you borrowed it from.
That what you used to do with the Ogre twins?
All right.
I at least used to know him, like, all right, the way Ogre 1 used to say, it goes, Ogre 2 has a big ass forehead. So that's how I knew the ogres between.
Pretty sure that's what Buck 57 says about Buck 20, by the way. So.
All right, we'll break into this game in just a second, actually. Let's take a quick look at the bracket, because it has now been updated. Team Infused, as you can see there, will be our very first semi-final team, guaranteeing them top 4. But the money and the qualification period is top 3. So realistically, that's where they want to be. And you can see coming up next, Epsilon versus Viperio. The winner of this will play Team Infused. All right, guys, who do we think is going to go through and why?
I think Viperio actually got a really tough draw here in the quarterfinals. I mean,
more than tough.
First seed. How bad can you get? I mean, that's pretty much one of the toughest draws. And even if they win, they have to play the team that beat them in the group as well. So pretty tough draw from Viperio. Epsilon, we speak about, they should really be a lock for World Championships. They should not only be qualifying for the EMEA regional finals, but also the World Championships later on in the year. So Epsilon really should win this one. But Viperio, I don't think we've seen the best of Viperio just yet. I think they got pretty much trounced yesterday against Infused.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to see that, actually, and that's something I do want to touch on here. Now, on set, when he's been on the analyst panel with these squads, as you can see currently on your screen
nice
there,
of
Jimbo,
Vard to wear his jersey there. That was nice of him.
Yeah, obviously, Jimbo, the 2 Bucks and Snipe Drone for Epsilon, going against Vard, Outcast, Warlord, and Looney. So, yeah, Viperio were kind of hyped up there by onset yesterday, but they kind of really underperformed against the top squad. And now they're actually facing not the 3rd seed, as they got kind of trounced yesterday, but the 1st seed. Are we expecting a similar story?
I think so. I don't think Onset's overhyping was misplaced. I think it was just a really poor performance from Viperio. I know what these players are capable of. They've beaten Infused on LAN in the past with 3 out of 4 of this lineup. And then you have Vard there, who's the odd one out. They are capable of taking scalps. They have done in previous tournaments. But like we said, this Epsilon lineup, they should really be not only winning this event, but also winning the EMEA regional finals as well.
Super focused Vard there.
Exactly, yeah. He's in the game. He's ready for the game.
All right, so now if I remember correctly, wasn't this the 100-0 game by Infused?
Good question.
I'm fairly certain Infused, when they played Viperio, managed to 100-0 them on stronghold.
I have a brain like a sieve, so...
It's pretty clear that Epsilon is the heavy favorites here.
Yeah.
And Viperio has a tweet that says they have nothing to lose. Like, they can't be scared at this point. Like, everyone's already counted them out. Not everyone, but a lot of people have counted them out. I've kind of counted them out, but at the same time, that can be a strength for Viperio. They said, guess what? We have nothing to lose. Go out, play our absolute best, and see if we can take the series. Like, you can take a game, or it's a best of 3 right now.
Yeah, it's a best of 3
games.
Like,
and
they've beaten tiers.
They have to have confidence. Like, there's a difference between confidence, like, and cockiness. Like, confidence, they have to realize you have to go in every tournament thinking that you can win. If you go in saying, well, we hope to take top 8, that's the best you're going to do.
Yeah.
Once you reach that goal, you have to truly go into these tournaments expecting to win. If you don't, why are you playing this event?
All right, so one of the things I've kind of noticed here is that obviously Epsilon being the heavy favorites, for me, it does seem a little bit like Epsilon aren't really focused on this game. They're focused on the Infused game more than anything else. They've kind of moved past it already mentally. They know that they're lining up for Infused. Do you think that could be a problem for them with the fact that they've already kind of mentally gone past this game and looking at the Infused lineup more heavily?
See, I disagree. I actually think Epsilon are one of those teams who are super focused on the match that's in front of them. And I think they certainly won't be counting out this Viperio lineup. They know the players on this lineup, and they know exactly that they can take scalps in big tournaments like this, and they know it's a best of 3 as well. So they know they absolutely have to bring their A game, not only ready for this game, but also if they do win in the semi-final against Infused as well.
All right, fair enough. Well, we've spoken to the Epsilon guys, and we've had a little feature with them. So let's take a little look at Epsilon.
The origins of Epsilon was originally we were called Leftovers. We were a couple players that were just dropped from certain teams and we just decided to team together.
It was me, Reaction, Buck20 and Jimbo. We ended up not placing well in Battle of Europe. We ended up placing third. So Reaction ended up parting ways.
In return, got my brother back in, so he got Buck57 back into the team after forcing him to kind of get back into Halo. So once we got him back on the team, the chemistry kind of built from that. We got used to playing with each other, we started practicing hard.
Coming in first seed, obviously we're predicted to win the event, but we're not underestimating anyone.
Our strongest game mode is probably Breakout. We've only lost one in all of our major cups and qualifiers.
Our team playstyle on Breakout, we've gone through a lot of different strategies, so we know different kind of routes, different kind of ways to take them out. We're quite an objective-based team, and we like kind of working together as a team quite a lot. So when it comes down to kind of the Slayer game types, we struggle. Whereas when it's the objective-based, we just seem to really gel as a team.
During the third qualifier, where we lost to Infuse 3-1, a certain player on our team, shall not be named, decided to try and fix his sleeping pattern the day before the major qualifier and had not slept. So
I actually look at it as a positive that we lost one of the qualifiers. Again, I didn't get much sleep. I still played the best, but I think it was kind of like a wake-up call for us to take every game seriously and play our best in every game.
I think either Infused and Dignitas will both be very, very good series for people to watch.
I personally would like to play Dignitas because I think they think they're a lot better than us.
When I found out how many zeros were on the prize money, it's kind of crazy to see, like over $1 million to play Halo and potentially up for grabs.
To have a run in at winning it is fantastic.
It kind of gave us a lot of motivation. Like we've got kind of like our own kind of strategy at home online, and there's literally a spreadsheet that says motivation, and it has the prize money broken down bit by bit.
If we ended up winning HWC, I think most of the money I would spend on myself getting a car, but the other part of the money I would probably spend on my family, spoiling them.
Buy a nice car and then that's it, and I never drive it because I end up playing all the time. So.
I think I'm going to be sensible. Me and my brother will probably buy a place together. If we won the finals and we actually ended up winning Halo World Championships, I'd probably end up buying a really fancy car, get a Halo team house and have like the nerdiest setups ever.
All right, well, that was Team Infused. And interestingly enough, we were talking while that video was going on, and Wonderboy, you pointed out the qualifier they lost, and obviously you casted that qualifier. Take me through it.
I just want to give a quick shout out to that cheesy face there from Sniper Join right there. And you could tell he's posing for the camera. But yeah, that qualifying cup number 3 that they lost, he actually highlighted it there in that VT. You know, he said, hey, I didn't have a lot of sleep and I didn't play my best. And we highlight Sniper Join as one of the players that absolutely has to be firing for Epsilon. And that's why they're so strong. He's kind of like a naded, he's kind of a naded kind of player. He really controls power weapons. He's a really strong slayer. And in that cup number 3, he didn't really have a lot of sleep, and it really impacted his performance. And you saw that in Epsilon's results. I mean, they lost in the semi-finals. I mean, that's pretty much unheard of. That was the first qualifying cup final that Epsilon didn't actually make.
Well, I imagine if that's the case, his teammates probably tucked him into bed last night. Like, it's 7 o'clock now, go to sleep.
Gave him
we
a
need
nice
you good tomorrow.
Hot chocolate and yeah.
The part I noticed at the end of that video was both the Bucks talk about they do the money. I think it was 57 saying, you know what, I'd like to get a place with my brother so we can see each other more.
Yeah,
and 20 was like, I'm getting a car so I can get as far away from him as possible.
That's cute. I love those guys. I still owe one of them money, so hopefully if they win Halo WC, he'll forget about it. It's only like 15 quid, so I'm kind of hoping he lets me know.
All right, well, let's get a scoreline from you both. Walshy, let's start with you.
I'm going 2-0 Epsilon.
Okay, Wonderboy?
Yeah, I got to follow my boy Walsh. Yeah, it's got to be a 2-0 Epsilon. I think at Viperio, it's similar to the last game. They can give Epsilon good games, just as Rift did to Infused. But yeah, again, I think it should be 2-0 Epsilon.
All right, well, our analysts seem fairly sure it's going to be a 2-0 to Epsilon. Remember to use the hashtag HaloWC. Tell us what you think the score's going to be and who's going to win. But this game is all but ready to go. Let's hand it over to the casters. It's Ton and Golden Boy.
Thank you so much, Brycey, Walshy, and Slinky. Appreciate it. Found out about that one. Never letting it go, Slinky. In any case, though, folks, this is looking to be a really, really good one. You know, I think Epsilon, this is a squad. We were talking about it while we were waiting for the match of the beginning. For Slinky, of course, to stop talking about how he owes people money. I mean, can he just do something right?
I don't really. You know what? I've been very, very nice to him all week. I am going to.
By the way,
defend
shout out
him.
to The Sims for that little tidbit.
I have
no
absolutely
idea
no idea what you're talking about.
His old gamer tag was Slinky.
Oh, right? Really?
That's right. So
Why?
now he's just Slinky. You know what? Honestly, Xbox Live name generator. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna talk about
My name was gonna be Sheltered Turtle, which I look like a turtle, which actually would have been very beneficial.
I was wondering where Sneaky Walrus got his game attack from, and I'm feeling that that's it.
Random name generator.
Yeah,
bro.
it could be. It very well could be.
That's it. But in any case, though, folks, thank you so much for joining us here. We're going to get ready for this matchup in a little bit. Epsilon Esports, just to mention, we were talking about how this is a squad that could perform really well in North America.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the Buck Twins have done so. When they were in power, they went over to the United States and competed. Jimbo and Snipe Drone also have experience against the North American players as well. Infuse, to talk about them as well. They also have that kind of experience. But something about this Epsilon squad really strikes me as dominant here. I mean, not only are they the first seed, but just the confidence that this squad has. But speaking of, though, let's actually talk about the maps. We're going to have first Coliseum, capture the flag, then Plaza, Team Slayer, followed by, if necessary, the Rig Strongholds. But we talked a lot about Epsilon, Ton. Got to talk about Viperio.
Yeah, yesterday people were a little bit disappointed by them. We expected a really good game with them going up against Infused, and for no better way, they got absolutely trashed. It was that bad. So now going up probably against a better seed. They are against a better seed. Epsilon, probably people would say Epsilon are a better team than Infused. But at the moment, we will find out that a little bit later if Epsilon can walk away with the win here, because those two teams will face off in the semi-final. We're going to go straight on board with Buck 57.
All right, folks, let's see what Buck 57 is going to do here. At the beginning of the game, I just want to note before, how crazy was that combat evolve that we would have seen earlier, man?
It was absolutely insane. He didn't manage to pull it off. I think he nearly got a hold of it, and he just got taken out straight away. But a couple of kills going to come straight off the bat there for Epsilon, who are going to open things up here and try and get a hold of that flag. Just trying to get some control. All the kills currently going towards Epsilon. Actually, and Viperio really need to do something quickly about this, because Epsilon have already started to assert their dominance. Buck 20 does have all the sniper, and they do have the rockets as well. Is Jimbo going to be able to survive that? Looney plays that well, gets in his face. The rocket's not able to do enough damage. And that flag is going to be pulled away. Is Buck 20 going to be able to do something there? Good shot with the sniper on the wall.
Has to be careful about this player on the flank here. They have cut off this blue spawn, so you can expect to see players charging more so from elbow, and also right in front of Buck 20 as he's currently located. Unfortunately for him, cannot stay alive. His brother is in the vicinity though, Ton, which means that they should be able to at least get in their face and cause some more problems, but cannot quite follow through with it. Let's see what's going on with Jimbo now as he's looking to press his luck on the snipe side and try and get aggressive here.
Well, still on board with Jimbo. Pistol is out, picks up one as Buck 20 is going to clean it up. He should be able to get this kill on Vard, and just about got it. Warlord's grenade did come in there, taking him down. But, Epsilon with a really good start. And, oh my god, I would love to see that from Outcast's side. Come in with the ground and pound, and then the snipe to the head was great work by him. Buck 57 does answer back, takes him down. On board now. Still, we're going to stay with Outcast, see what he can do from his respawn.
Yeah, I want to see this squad, try and prioritize on this Rocket side, as Rockets will be coming up in just a little bit here. They do know that there's going to be pressure coming from the left side of the map, the snipe side. Typically, you'll see, players prioritize one or the other. But with Rockets coming up, though, I don't know who's in the vicinity to go and get it. But actually, it's going to be a flagpole being made by Buck 20. He's bringing it over to the snipe side now, and he does have the coverage. If I take a look, he has Buck 57 on the red elbow, Snipe Drone looking at Courtyard, and he is pretty much right there, stone's toss away from putting that one down, and he makes it happen. Epsilon goes up 1-0 on the board.
Yeah, looks good for Epsilon. Really, really good start by them. Everything's been pretty convincing. They made the kills where they needed to. The cover was there. It was very well worked. And a pretty simple flag in the end, looking pretty good here against Viperio in the quarterfinals. And of course, a lot of people's favorites, Epsilon, for this weekend.
Yeah, I like what's going on here, right? Buck 20, he's just trying to play it slow. He knows that there's players in his base, so he just has to stay alive, right? Work with his teammates and stop this attack. Once they're able to stop this attack, then they can focus on pushing back up, and also just look at the dedication to his ability in using his stabilizer, his thruster, all these things, right? Buck 20, great movement out of him as he gets aggressive on that left side.
Yeah, he sees the guy behind him on his radar as well. He's going to be able to survive this, and he can make this kill. It's going to be big, and he has taken a couple of shots. Has he managed to get away just about? And his team are going to try and come and clean things up. Flag has been pulled, and you look at the cover that he's got down that right-hand side. Buck just turns around, takes down Vard, and is holding his side down. Killing spree for him, and that's surely now going to be 2-0 to Epsilon.
They got to be cautious about this player, though, on the move. There is going to be one player at their flag, and it has been pulled. And now Buck20's in a really bad spot there. But Warlord comes up huge with the stop and the return, and he had that scatter shot in his hands. Teammate Outcast has the flag down. He has managed to just bro-fist 57. He falls down, and they're looking to bring this one in. But they have to be careful here. Looney has eyes on that objective. Can they get to it in time?
Outcast needs to get there and help his teammates out. Oh, they're sort of resenting the fact that that might actually just get returned. It's still that return now. That was unfortunate, but he did really, really well to stop Epsilon from getting that flag in, because that should have been 2-0 for Epsilon, but it was really good work. Scatshot comes in there, and that could be a really big play for Viperio. They could get some momentum from this. Outcast needs to be careful. Somebody behind him spins around with the... Oh, not going to quite happen. 57 does take him down, and Epsilon able to push in for another flag, and it's going to have to be defended hard by Viperio.
Here's the thing I like about what Epsilon's doing here, right? They make you think they're coming cave side. Then out of nowhere, they're approaching you from the elbow side. There's just pressure being applied left and right, and it's making Viperio have to second guess where they're looking, and because of that, they're able to get those kills. But luckily for them, they were able to stop that initial push there, and now it's going to be Viperio's time to attack. Buck20 can't stay alive. Let's see what Snipe Drone's doing. He picked up his namesake, the sniper, and I'm expecting big things out of him here.
Yeah, man, every single time this guy gets a hold of this weapon, he causes so many problems. With Bard putting a lot of shots in, Buck20's going to come clean up with a hit in the back, and the flag has been pulled away by Epsilon. They have a couple of members down as well, so Outcast goes down for Viperio, and here we go, Snipe Drone just trying to cover. He's put Looney down to one shot. They should be able to clean that up. They do. He goes down, and this should be pretty easy for a 2-0 flag for Epsilon.
And one thing to note as well is just how they take their time, right? Snipe Drone, he's not getting too aggressive. He's waiting for his teammates. He's waiting for those callouts. He's patrolling his area. But unfortunately, when a rocket launcher finds its way to you, there's just not much you could do there. Let's see what's going on with Jimbo.
Yeah, they didn't manage that flag there. I was quite surprised. It did seem as if they were looking pretty good for that. But the Viperio have come back here. They're going to try and get some pressure put on. Bard running around, just going to try and get a hold of that flag. A couple of members of Epsilon did go down, and he's got a few of them in front of him. Buck20 does pick the first one, and his twin gets the second. Warlord and Looney do go down. So Vard and Co have got some defending to do here. That's good shots onto Buck20, the perfect with the pistol. Is he going to be able to pick up the second as well? It's really good by Vard. If he needs to play it well, Viperio may have a chance. He manages to survive. Good shot's going to go in there. And Viperio looking really good, trying to get some aggression on the Epsilon flag.
Outcast was in the base trying to push up. You had Looney also working the top mid. He has Sniper now, so I'm expecting Looney to just play for those picks, hopefully trying to help out his teammate over here inside of the red tunnel. That was going to be Warlord, but now Looney has to get out of there, right? He committed so much with that Sniper, has given possession of that back over to Epsilon. I don't know if anyone has gone and picked it up just yet, though. But despite that, you know, those are the things that I think Viperio could certainly look to improve. They got super aggressive there. I would have liked to have seen Looney take a better position, possibly on the Rocket side with the sniper rifle, because now that Rockets are up, they have to prioritize them. It seems like Epsilon picked it up, but I think Viperio are going to be able to get that. And also Warlord has the sniper as well in that same top mid position, but he cannot stay alive here. Outcast has Rockets.
It seems as if when Epsilon get a hold of those power weapons, they protect the guys that have it a lot better. Looney does get a hold that time, and he has made that kill, so that's good work by him. But every single time we've seen anyone from Viperio with a hold of it, they are swarmed very, very quickly by Epsilon. And it doesn't seem to be reciprocated by Viperio, so unfortunately every single time they get a hold of them, they're not able to utilize them as well as Epsilon have. And Epsilon still with that 1-0 lead, but Viperio definitely not out of this.
No, not at all. And another thing that you made mention of was, you know, how they protect him, right? He gives them an opportunity to be able to get up top and cause some problems. But in that play right there, when you have Rockets and you're shooting them up, your chances are you're not going to succeed with that, right? Like, yeah, you may get 1 or 2 kills, or you may get some splash damage, but you're not going to get the kills you need because you're going to be playing from the back foot. But I love this flank here by Vard, and he has to stay alive, make this flag pull, and he sees his teammate to the right, but they have to be cognizant of the fact that there could be someone charging him by the green side top mid, so he has to keep his eyes focused on that one. And there goes that player. He has someone for assistance. Now they need to think about, well, do we go for this flag, or do we just let it return back to its base? It seems like Warlord, he was just trying to get away from that one. Outcast over here by Rockets. Let's see what he could do as 15 seconds and those rocks come up.
I was so impressed by 57 there. He was lingering around mid-map, got the kill onto the flag carrier, and just got out of there straight up, because he knows he needs to be chased down before they even think about picking that one up again. It didn't have a chance. He managed to survive, and then suddenly the flag gets returned. So really good work by 57. He did that pretty much on his own.
Yeah, now 57, you know, you speak about him. He has that sniper on elbow, and this is the position that we've seen consistently, right? Players take this elbow spot, they get a couple clean shots, and they're just doing their work. Now he makes his way over to top mid. He gets in their face, anticipating the spawns. Pretty much textbook Halo is what you're seeing right here. But 57 has to get out of that one because he was one shot and did not expect that to happen.
Well, they're getting a couple of kills down this right-hand side as well, and they're going to be in a position.
Get that snipe too.
Yeah, he's going to be in a position to get that. But really good play by Warlord. He's going to pick up a double. So that's really going to shut down any advances Epsilon were putting on to Viperio. Buck is in a good position here. Is he going to be able to get the sniper kill? Just about. Good work by him. Is he going to be able to pick up any more? But Outcast and Looney are doing really good work for Viperio. That flag's going to be pulled, and Buck 57 is going to have to be that guy that comes up clutch once again.
Can we just talk about the fact that Viperio is going toe-to-toe with Epsilon here? You saw Warlord just clutch an unbelievably close play there to get that double. But 57 with a loaded sniper is looking to do some work. Gets hit with that splinter grenade right at his fingertips. He just did not expect that at all. And now let's see what's going on here. I think you have Snipe Drone in some trouble. Jimbo has Sniper. We got to go to Jimbo. I always love seeing him with a snipe, but he has it on blue side. They're committing to this one. Have to be careful about that spawn on the elbow side as well as front flag.
Just trying to stay alive here, pick up some kills, and they have done, and they've done them in the right positions as well. Jimbo comes in with a snipe. Outcast did take down 57, but is that flag going to be pulled by Epsilon at this moment in time? They're trying to defend as well, and it hasn't been pulled quite yet. On board now, still with Jimbo. He's just trying to look over towards Rockets, and that flag has been pulled, sorry.
I do, okay, he identified that there was going to be a player underneath him. Almost got the no-scope, got trapped. And, you know, like in that instance, there wasn't, I don't know how I feel about that play, right? He really was kind of at a disadvantage because he probably got a call out a little late. You could tell that there was a moment of panic there when he went for that ground pound. He thought he was going to be able to find a player below him. Just not going to happen. He was more focused on that rocket play, which wasn't the wrong play in my personal opinion. He did not want to let them get the rockets because right now, Viperio, they are slaying toe-to-toe with Epsilon here. And somehow Jimbo manages to dodge that ground pound. He has two guys down. They want to focus on getting this flag. Spawns coming up on elbow side, but Jimbo can't stay alive.
That's really important by Vard. If he got taken down there, that would have been a really good position for Epsilon to pull things away. But Outcast is going to try and answer back. See, I don't agree with that. It didn't seem as if anything was set up. He's just pulling it like...
Yeah, they did not have top-mid control there. A player was there with eyes on it. Those are the situations that you just don't want to see happening there. They went for the flag pull because they know they don't have a lot of time to work with here, Ton.
Well, on board with Outcast, what can he do to try and make this work? He has gotten the flag into a decent position, but they are all pretty much going to go down. That flag is actually not looking too far away. He's going to try and pull this away, Warlord. He has somebody challenging up here. Is he going to be able to do anything with a sniper? It was a tall order there. Buck 20 does get the kill onto him, and that flag should be returned. Bond gets the kill on the Jimbo there. They're really starting to get aggressive here, and you're right. They need to do it quickly. 50 seconds to go, and Epsilon are pulling their flag as well, so this is going to be really, really hard for Viperio.
Outcast needs to go clutch here. He's crouching around. I don't think anyone knows that he's in this vicinity. And if he just plays it out slow, he goes for the pull. Finds one in front of him. He has that scatter shot. Can't stay alive. Oh, man, that is unfortunate for him. And Buck 57 has that flag out. They're going to get the return, and this could pretty much be all she wrote. Yes, it is. What a grueling matchup, though. You know, this is going to go to time, not to caps. This went the distance, and Viperio pretty much went, you know, aggressive consistently against this Epsilon roster. I did not expect that at all. Viperio, they have a lot of fight in them.
Yeah, I think for me, you know, Viperio were going toe-to-toe the whole way through, but at the same time, they weren't taking those moments that they needed to win the game. Epsilon walk away as 2-0 winners in the first map, and deserved for me. When they had those, there was a couple of times where Viperio did pull, or they did get a few members down, but they never seemed to do anything with it. Epsilon, every single time they got themselves in that advantageous position, it looked like they were going to get a flag every single time, and there was a couple of times Viperio went big to stop them, but Epsilon, in the end, too strong, and they will lead the series 1-0.
Yeah, Buck 57 and Jimbo had a good showing there. Buck 57, more notably, he had 25 kills and 12 assists in that game. And actually, looking at Snipe Drone, he had, I think that's 16 kills and 15 assists, and then 15 and 14 for Buck 20. So what that tells me there is just a lot of help coming out of the Epsilon side.
Yeah.
But Viperio were not making it easy by any means for Epsilon to make progress. They were doing a good job on defense, but you had mentioned it before. They were struggling to get that play going on offense, right? Every single time they had an opportunity, you know, it looked like you had an opportunity, but you really need to clear those spots that are crucial. Like that last pull that we saw to them, I believe it was Vard or Warlord. They didn't have top mid control, and because of that, that player was able to creep up on the blue sneaky, get right on top of top mid, and just focus his shots right on that player coming across the bridge. But there were moments, though, where they had good runs, right? Pulling the flag, taking it to their teammates. That's the part where you need to hear that communication from these two teams. Overall, though, I want to see what Viperio does in this Slayer matchup.
Yeah, because
backs are against the wall now.
If anything, they did look okay in the slaying department when they were going up against. I mean, I know the scoreboard is gone now, but realistically, when you've seen big gun battles going on, and they can hold their own, they have pretty decent shots, but it is still about the teamwork. You have to rotate around together.
Yeah.
And I just feel as if that sniper cinema area is really going to belong to Snipe Drone here, and that's going to be the undoing of Viperio.
Well, that's the thing, right? You know, you know that that's going to be the player that's going to try and favor it, right? And if he doesn't go for it, then probably, you know, Jimbo will go for it, right? But you can stop that. It's not impossible to do so. But the crucial thing here, more so than Sniper, I think, is the overshield. We saw how that really affected Rift in that last matchup, right? They were able to get that second overshield, and because of that, they were able to get aggressive and then make that game into a much closer matchup, right? I could realistically see Viperio force a Game 3 here, but it is going to be pretty much crucial that they focus on that overshield. In fact, they have to get this first one, and they have to make use of it. They need to assert themselves right away. No chance here, no reason that they shouldn't. This is it, right? Your backs are against the wall.
Exactly, man.
You're done. You're out of this competition.
Well, it is really much do or die for Viperio here. Epsilon, I said, are 1-0 to the good. They walk away as winners of that first map, 2-0. And as said, I mean, it's not out of the question for Viperio to get this map here. So I said they need to get aggressive. They need to get a hold of that overshield before they do that, though. But I think preventing Snipe Drone get a hold of that sniper is pretty much one of their main objectives.
The truth is, I could see Epsilon winning this game, you know, and maybe with like a 50-35 score.
Yeah.
But it's going to require, you know, a lot of effort from Viperio at the start of this matchup. They need to get aggressive on that mid-bridge, right where that overshield is. You see it on your screen, folks. It is go time here, and I actually am going to kick it off with Epsilon's Buck57 to see what they're going to do. And remember, right, they're closer to that overshield, so they are going to be able to get it, perhaps. No, actually, you got 4 down now for Epsilon here. A strong start, exactly what they needed. Who has a sniper? Vard. Vard has the sniper for Viperio.
That was great work by him. He pushed around, outshot 57. Got a hold of the sniper and sniped over across as well, and Vard really lighted things up with the double. Phenomenal work out of Vard there. Fantastic by him. He's pushed around and 4 kills in a row for Vard and really doing work for Viperio, and that is the start that they needed.
This is exactly what Viperio had to do, Ton. But now they need to work together here. They have to make the call-outs. They need bodies on blue. They need a player protecting Vard up front. They have to have that protection. If they don't, they can give up that blue spawn, and it is very frustrating for Vard to have to deal with potential flanks, not only coming from the direction he's facing right now, but also from that cafe side.
Yeah, they need to work around him here, see what he can do with it. I mean, they've taken a pretty good lead so far. They've getting aggressive, but as I said, there doesn't seem to be anybody in and around him. He's going to look for the shot there, not going to quite be able to get it onto Jimbo. He's just scouting around, just looking for those picks, being sensible with it as well.
I just want to point out something that Warlord's doing here, right? Hanging out by Tram, and he's getting aggressive and in their face. I don't know how I feel about this, but they do have Outcast by Blue, so Outcast needs to make the stops, and Vard is getting those shots. Vard is doing exactly what you needed him to do here, picking up that sniper and just being a pain in the neck. Put the fear of God into Epsilon and do not allow them to move at all. Make them fear that sniper.
Well, he has done that so far. A couple of really good shots coming out of him. Jimbo is going to take down Looney, though. Is this going to be a comeback now for Epsilon? Vard does put one body shot in there. Looked like a head, but not quite. He's going to switch to the BR, get the first, not going to quite get the second. That's a few kills coming in for Epsilon, and Vard is in a lot of trouble now.
Yeah, they lost 2 players here, and they have to time that OS. One player actually creeps around them, and they end up losing control of Sniper. So that was the part that I was a little worried about, right? You know, they got overshield.
Yeah.
They got overshield. Let's actually see who is the player that has that. It's going to be Looney, and he is pretty much in their face, being a pain in the neck. I tell you why. He's blocking those bullets. It's because of those flowing locks, and he triple conditioned today, people. Triple conditioned. Those are the things you need.
16-9 is
Path
the
to
score
success.
for Viperio. The sniper is going to be coming up in around 30 seconds. It's a big gunfight. Jimbo needs to win it for his Epsilon team.
Beautiful movement for the time being.
It wasn't quite good enough. He just didn't land all those shots that Jimbo was landing. And Epsilon getting a couple of kills back here. It's a 5-kill game.
So Hydra, now this is good. It may not get the hits. It gets 1 hit. Okay, that's fine, right? But the Hydra, for the most part, is just good at detecting where players are going to be, right? You can get that, you know, the diamond reticule on them. Oh, there's a player, a Buck player, actually, right ahead of him, an Epsilon guy. But, you know, another thing to note here, man, they're ahead, right? 17-13. They just need to keep this going, and they cannot make any dumb plays. They cannot allow Epsilon to get those snipes off willy-nilly.
Jimbo does have a hold of that sniper, so he's going to probably do work with that sniper.
Oh, look at Vard. Look at Vard. This is never mind. He gets picked off. So he gets identified right away, and he was trying to get a little sneaky, as my boy Sims like to say, some cheeky plays.
Cheeky plays out of Vard. And there's Buck 20 coming in there with kill onto Looney as well. So Epsilon really starting to get into this game now. They have tied things up with 8.5 minutes to go, and they have control of that sniper as well. And they really haven't done as much as Vard did with it, but at the same time, they're getting all the kills around him, and that's what's working for Epsilon at this moment in time.
So long as you know, VP works together here, right, and they are able to get the trades off, those are going to be important. But I'm also worried about this guy, Buck 57. We saw what he did with this on Coliseum. Now this is his opportunity to be able to extend this lead. They're up by 2, and this is that just resilience that Epsilon has. It's phenomenal. When you think they're down, they're never down. They find a way to come back each and every time. I can imagine it's a very frustrating experience here. But Buck 57 can't get out, ton.
Yeah, he did manage to pick up 1 kill, but good work by Viperio to put the pressure in. Jimbo did get the kill onto Vard. As you can see, Jimbo really pushing in there, picks up the double as well, and gets a hold of that sniper rifle once again.
And overshield. Don't forget about that.
Oh, has he got a... Oh, yes, he has. Sorry, I didn't even realize. Oh, big shot by Jimbo there with the snipe onto Warlord. Good work by him, and he's really just turned it around there. They lost that sniper, got it straight back, runs in with the overshield, and picks up a couple of kills, and he's picking heads off here. And Viperio not looking good for them at this moment in time.
Well, so I like the approach that Epsilon had. They were pushing up inside of the garden, and then what this does is it opens up that blue spawn there, the cafe spawn, and Jimbo just has to worry about that. They don't have to worry about anyone spawning behind them or in the tram area, but just in front. So again, you want your sniper to just worry about 1 area, not 2, because if he's looking around left and right, he's going to get confused, and eventually he will fall because he will miss something. When you have a player focusing on 1 spot, it's always better.
Still on board with Jimbo, just trying to look for those picks. Not going to be able to land that one. It is still only a 5-kill game. Same time, though, Epsilon going to come in there with a better trade. 3 for 1, just around that little play there. So 30-23 is the score. They've got to hold of the areas that they need to at this moment in time to do the work that they can do. Got 2 guys over at the other side. Cinema is Jimbo's. Going to actually start getting a bit aggressive, trying to change things up here. Oh, he's going to get pushed by Vard as well. He's going to be... Oh! Warlord gets sat down. Fantastic work by Jimbo. He was in a bit of a... He was definitely in a spot of bother there, and he's going to be there for the sniper respawn in around 12 seconds. And we said he can do what Snipe Drone can do, and he really is proving it here.
That is that moment where you know you done messed up, boy. I mean, my goodness. Oh, Jimbo, somebody stop this guy. A double kill for him, and he picks up new snipe ammo. Man, this dude has been on fire.
He's in a little bit of trouble here, though. He has been pressured in. There is somebody coming up on his right-hand side as well. Is he going to be able to spot that? Just having a little peek around. Not going to be able to quite get the snap onto him, but he is going to get aggressive. A couple of bullets have been put in by Buck 20. He's going to clean things up. Oh, Looney has managed to get a hold of OS. Could that be the turn for Viperio? Warlord gets the kill on the snipe drone, but Looney has been pressured so hard by Buck 20 with that stone rifle. Warlord gets the kill with the pistol. Jimbo escapes with his life with a few bullets left in that sniper. Is he going to be able to pick up 1? Not quite. He did get the shot there. I thought it was a collateral at first, actually.
Just talk about how Jimbo just, he doesn't scope with the gun. I mean, the reticule's like as small as a 16-year-old's pimple, and yet for some reason he just walks around with it as if it's like easy. It just really frustrates me how good he is with the sniper rifle. And in fact, it makes me feel lesser of a man. I don't know. I just have to question myself. Question my manhood.
Does it make you question your manhood?
It makes me question my manhood, how good he is with the sniper rifle.
Man,
It's so
been
frustrating.
Putting up a lot of numbers and a lot of great kills, and Epsilon are only 10 ahead, but still, they are well and truly in control of this game. And whatever Jimbo can do, Snipe Drone can do too. Let's see what he can do with these 2 remaining bullets in the sniper.
All right, he's all, and there's Snipe Drone, right? So again, you know, you just have this problem where you have Jimbo who can go off with a sniper, you have Snipe Drone who can go off with a sniper, Buck 57 who can hold his own with that gun as well. And it's like, what do you do when you have just weapons, right? People who are weapons across the board. And this is the position on Plaza that people hate, right? You get trapped in the tram, but I think Snipe Drone did get a call out that they're pushing out from Garden over to Cafe. Even then, though, it's still a tall order to have these players try and push out like this. It's hard, and what you're talking about now are just 4 guys consistently spawning on one side of the map and just can't figure out a way to break out because Snipe Drone has done exactly what Viperio was doing at the beginning, what Vard was trying to do, put the fear of the gun in the hands of Snipe Drone. And even then, he pushes up, it doesn't matter because he's still doing work.
Yeah, did really well there, and it is only 4 kills away for Epsilon now, looking pretty good for them. Looney does get one back. Is that OS going to go over to them? Yes, it is, but Buck 57's going to get in there straight away. Has he managed to take down the guy?
Yeah, he
did
burned
have
it.
Yeah, he got him straight away there, so good work by Epsilon to shut any sort of advance down from Viperio. Can 20 manage to secure things out for Epsilon here. 47-35 is the score.
Well, Buck 20, excuse me, is in a position, and that's the thing, right? That's the play that you're concerned about, pulling off a double kill like that, going for a triple to end the game. What a showing out of Buck 20, 50-36, the final score. Viperio, their journey ends here, but they fought valiantly. That's a heck of a way to end the game, though, man, with a triple kill.
Really, really nice out of Buck 20, because realistically, we've seen a lot from Jimbo, we've seen a lot from 57, we've seen a lot from Snipe Drone, and then 20 to come out with that final play at the end really shows how good of a team Epsilon are. They are absolute superstars across the board, and they could really go on far in this tournament. They're going to go into the semi-finals. They're going to be taking on Infused. We've got a couple more quarterfinals to come up before that. But what a game that will be. But I want to give a big shout out to Bard from the start of that game with Viperio. He played so well. They started off fantastically. And, you know, it looked pretty good for them at the start. They had a pretty good lead. I think it was like 8 or 9 kills at one point.
I think they were up about 17-8 or something like that. Like, they were on a run. But also shout out to Looney as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the conditioner did well for him today. You know, the locks. The flowing locks. But I just want to say, though, I think he got 3 overshields for a squad. Like, that's good, right? But
you have to make it work.
Exactly. You have to make it work. And it just wasn't right. He did the job of preventing OS from getting in their hands, but it all came down to that sniper play, right?
Yeah.
Jimbo went off.
And
you cannot stop that, man. Like, it is insane. I honestly I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, Jimbo really going off for Epsilon there against Viperio. They're going to advance to the semifinals. I'm sure the guys on the desk have got a lot to say about that game.
Well, thank you guys for kind of handing that one over. Yes, that was a great game to actually watch. A lot of kind of skill there displayed. But before we get too far into this game, I want to say a few things as the host. Now, there's been a lot of friendly banter actually thrown around on this desk over the weekend, some of which has been directed towards Wonderboy about being short. Now, as my job as host, I kind of want to rein that in and, you know, make sure we don't go too far. So we've gone and got you a present, you know, to kind of make up for a little bit of this.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the cinema does do these great children's booster seats.
Oh, give me that.
That should help you kind of make a little bit more impression on the desk.
Yeah!
Finally!
What now?
We finally got this back in. Right, now, with an improved...
I'm sorry, I can't hear you down there.
Let's...
I need to get off this thing, man. I don't like being so high.
We can also use it when you sit in the cinema, so you can see over the people in
Yeah,
front of you.
I know.
I figured that was
I
appropriate.
was sitting behind Bryce. He couldn't see past all his hair gel.
It's that short stature. Okay, right. Let's get the first impressions on this game then. Guys, what did you make of that one?
I'll let you go first, Walshy.
Viperio
Ladies
can't
first.
be disappointed with that performance.
No, I thought that was really
Coliseum
good from
flag
them.
game, although they didn't get a cap on the board, they made Epsilon work for that win. It had to go till time limit. Like, that's not what you'd expect when you think of the #1 seed. You'd think of them handily, you know, getting 3 caps within, you know, 10-minute mark. But no, they had to only settle for 2 caps. So that's not as convincing of a victory as we have seen every other match that we've seen Epsilon play. So it's finally showing that they're getting down to these top-notch squads, and Epsilon having to work for every single win.
Yeah, I agree. We saw some plays out of the Viperio side. You know, we had Warlord returning some flags. We had Outcast. You know, he was trying to make something happen for the Viperio side. But like you said, Epsilon just outclassing Viperio, I think, and that kind of showed in the series score.
Yeah, for me, like I said, we were going into this game and compared to what we saw on Viperio last time round, playing against the top team, I'm sitting there going, this is going to be so one-sided. It's going to be so ridiculously one-sided. And then I watched the game and I'm sitting there going, wow, I mean, you know what? Viperio really came out to play. And I think you were right with what you first said. They cannot be disappointed. I mean, don't get me wrong. Losing, still losing.
Yep.
But Viperio, if they put on that performance against almost any other team than Epsilon, we could be talking about a very different result now. It was just, I mean, Epsilon first of all played unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Some of the shots they were hitting were incredible. But I think, yeah, like you said,
Viperio did not back down.
Yeah, Viperio didn't
awesome.
back down. They went toe-to-toe with Epsilon. And you kind of have to wonder if that Viperio turned up yesterday against Infused, or maybe that Viperio did turn up yesterday. Maybe that's just, you know, speaking to how good Infused were yesterday. Maybe if they turned up like that against Infused, we would have seen a more interesting series against Infused. But I think, yeah, Epsilon just kind of showed their experience and made the 2-0 happen.
All right, well, we'll get into this map by map in just a second. But first, we are going to go down to an interview with Jimbo.
Hi, Bryce. Jimbo, fair to say that could easily have been a 3-0 on the first map. Had they not been holding on to dear life and contained you somehow.
Yeah, well, that's the first time we played that Viperio squad, especially with Vard on that team. It makes them a lot stronger. So we weren't 100% sure how they were going to play Coliseum. So it kind of did shock us how we didn't like storm through it like we have multiple times on Coliseum flag. So it was fair play to them. We still come out with a win, so that's definitely what we wanted out of that. But yeah, I think I had a good performance that game as well. Cause usually Mike's get a majority of the kills, but I dropped like 29 kills that game, so I was kind of proud.
Speaking of good performances, your team are spot for choice with both you and Snipe Drone, and that was a sniping masterclass, obviously, on Plaza.
Yeah, well, usually we give Mike snipe, but Mike was out, was in a different position, so I could just grab it and just. It's the first time I've touched it all weekend, so I think I did pretty well with it. There's quite a few quick snipes that I hit, which made me pretty happy, and yeah, it's nice to finally get to snipe instead of Mike.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. So you're playing Infuse next. Have you been playing well enough, do you think, so far to, obviously take him over?
We definitely need to step up a little bit. There's a couple of things we're still not back to what we usually are with, but we'll definitely turn up when we play against Infused, and I think we'll still get the same result that we usually do against them.
Well, what have you worked on since they beat you in the Cup?
Definitely our breakout game. They outperformed us quite badly in, the third Cup. They kind of embarrassed us in the breakout gamble, so we have worked on that quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to play. I don't know if we play against them this weekend on it, but I look forward to playing them in breakout again.
All right, Jimbo, congratulations. Brycey, back to you.
Well, thank you very much there. So we just seen about excellent sniping, and we'll get to what Jimbo did in game number 2. But first of all, you want to talk more about the quality. You're talking about this gamble game they played.
Yeah, they lost. Pretty much the first time we've ever seen Epsilon lose a breakout against Infused. And it's kind of scary. If you've seen Epsilon play breakout in the past, they're a really, really good breakout team. The fact that they've been working on their breakout game, that is really actually quite scary. So I'm actually looking forward to see
anyone who plays them on breakout.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking
then.
forward to see Epsilon play breakout, if they've been working on some stuff. So that'll be a good game.
Awesome. Well, let's get into this first map then. Okay, map number 1, Walshy. Tell me what you thought.
So I think we all would have expected Epsilon to get 3 caps at least. I'm not sure if it would have been like a 3-0 game or a 3-1, where it happened to be. But I just seemed to notice some almost restrictions in Epsilon's play when playing Coliseum CTF. They seem like they strictly only run flag towards Fountain. So what they do is they control snipe side, which I do believe is the most important side. And many times they'll push in from bridge or from Fountain. But in the end, it almost seems like every single time they block cave and then run at Fountain. And I don't know if it's the right strategy. Like, I don't see the downside in occasionally running at bridge. It seems like Epsilon only runs at Fountain. So I'm not sure if other top squads are going to take advantage of that, if they're going to basically say, oh, well, they're going to run at Fountain. So that means we have plenty of time to still flank over through Rocket side and maybe get a flagpole, or I can sneak through Bomb Center. There's really no threat, it seems like, of the fast cap from Epsilon. They seem to take like this slow, methodical push back towards their base where they feel they're taking the safest route. But sometimes I feel like you just got to take it fast across bridge.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's actually something that Warlord did. I think Warlord identified in that game, hey, Epsilon, they're pulling a flag. They're only going one way. They're going the safe way. So I think it was Warlord with the scatter shot. He was actually able to get into the Epsilon flag and get a really clutch return there.
That was at the 8-minute and 45-second mark.
Yeah.
Like you said, Warlord, he not only got the return, he first pulled the flag as a distraction, brought towards bridge, and then went and very wisely went back for the recovery.
Awesome. Okay. Well, is that everything you guys have got on that map? Is there anything else you want to go? I mean, for me, it was a lot of. It seemed like a lot of Viperio kind of chasing their tails at points, just trying to keep Epsilon kind of pinned in, and rather than pull flags in places, that's what they were doing.
There's also a lot of credit to be given to Viperio because in many cases, when Epsilon's trying to run that flag towards Fountain, they were getting the crucial kills. They were killing the flag carrier because it seemed like Epsilon, in many cases, would just send that one player left. Like they'd have just one player close to the flag, and once they picked off that player, the flag run was stopped completely.
Yeah.
They rarely ever got to Fountain. And when the times they did, they at least got it, closer to their base. But it just seems like Viperio did the correct counter, the counter strategy to that, where they'd push in, go for a counter pull, or at least they'd kill the most relevant person, who's the flag carrier.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's move on to map number 2 then, because there's certainly a lot to talk about in this map, including Epsilon flexing a little bit of muscle, it did seem. They kind of just went, oh, okay, that's enough of that. I'm pretty much done now, right? Have a look at what we can do.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The game didn't start out like that. The game actually had Epsilon down 9-3 at the start of the game, and Viperio were actually kind of pinning them in the cafe and yard area. So it certainly wasn't a complete stomp from Epsilon's in the early part of the game, at least.
This is the interesting thing I picked up on. I mean, like, yes, Viperio started off really well, and it seemed like Epsilon came in cold, but they're just, you almost got to, just like I said, you felt that Epsilon kind of just shrug and go, right, okay.
Well, here's the thing. The Epsilon do so differently to the majority of European teams, especially the lower tier ones. When they were trapped in the cafe in the yard, they were really patient. They waited until they got that first pick, and then they all pushed out. And that's exactly what you need to do. When you have numbers, you need to push out together, and that's exactly what they did. And they managed to break the Viperio setup and close the gap.
I do kind of wish that someone would tell Epsilon you could hit body shots.
Yeah.
On the sniper rifle.
Honestly, it got kind of boring after a while, seeing headshot after headshot. I want to see him miss once in a while.
Someone must have explained the sniper to him, going, yeah, if you hit him twice in the body, it'll kill him. If you hit him once in the head, we go, well, we'll just hit the headshots. That's all I need to do. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, Jimbo, of course, was a machine. I mean, we usually talk about a sniper drone with that, but I mean, they both did it. They were just being absolute animals. How on earth do you counter a guy who's hitting everything? Doesn't even bother scoping in half the time.
Well, you also got to give a lot of credit to Viperio and Vard at the very beginning.
Oh,
he was ripping off faces, remember? It was like a 1-on-2 at Cinema Stairs. Vard just rips off both faces. And I think we have a clip here. Let's take a quick look at this Vard clip if we do have it. I thought I saw it show up.
Yeah, I think we do have a quick clip.
Pull it up. Here we go. Vard here, pretty much 1-on-2 on the Cinema Stairs. Gets this nice pick, and these are tough shots to hit because it's at that elevation difference and perfect shots taking out both bucks.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
That is such a huge play right there, and you got to look at the difference in that, because when you see a play like that from Vard compared to we've seen some great shots from Jimbo and from Snipe Drone, but the difference is Jimbo and Snipe Drone have that buffer. They have the bucks controlling all the area around them. So the biggest difference in this game was, yes, both teams had control at some point. Viperio had it early on. They had control of Snipe side. They had control of the entire map. They even had control of Cafe. Warlord doing a great job of Storm Rifle on that side of the map. However, the biggest difference was how well they protected their sniper. You noticed that in order to get to the sniper, in order to get towards Jimbo or towards Snipe Drone, you had to get through one of the bucks. Yeah. And you just saw how well they collapsed. There was plenty of times where I remember it was Vard one time was bottom of the lift, and instantly you saw Buck 20 jump down towards blue truck, and then Jimbo drop down towards the bottom of the lift, and they just sandwich that player.
I wanted to speak about that, actually. For me, Epsilon's team shot was incredible. It just seemed like they all were communicating telepathically and could just know exactly where the player, and they just all seemed to just collapse on every single person. I mean, for me, Vard actually kind of, they tried to swarm him several times, but Viperio put together a concentrated effort to shut it down, and Epsilon just went, no, you're not getting near him, or, Jimbo would pull off a great shot, and it would just collapse. I mean, Vard, more than once, come up really close to Jimbo, and he almost had him, but then Jimbo pulled off a great shot, or the Bucks would come swarming in, or Epsilon would just go, you know what, it's chaos, but we're still going to team shot you all.
It's so interesting. Like if you looked at it from like a top-down view, you see like this oscillation pattern that that Bucks do. Like they'll push out towards Cafe, and do damage there. And then as soon as they realize an opponent is somewhere near their teammates, like someone gets towards cinema stairs, someone gets towards BR or bottom left, they instantly come right back. They collapse back instantly. So it's one of those things that they aren't in a static position. It's not like, all right, I'm at cafe and I'm only going to stay here. The instant they know their teammate's in trouble, they come back, get that kill, and then push back out again. So it's just like back and forth like a wave.
I think it was just so difficult for them to do, and that's why we actually saw them go so far ahead. Not only did we have kind of Viperio just couldn't get past the Bucks, but then when they tried to get a little bit past or try to get a bit of ground, the snipes were coming in and ripping heads clean off. All right, well, I think that kind of stays all the stuff for that one taken down, all the analysis done. But guys, another big game actually coming up under this break. It's Dignitas versus Exertus. Join us right after this.